The Khazar Khaganate, spanning the Pontic-Caspian steppe from the 7th to 10th centuries, controlled vital trade routes connecting northern Europe and the Middle East. This powerful Turkic state, centered near the Volga Delta, acted as a crucial buffer, protecting Byzantium from northern nomadic incursions. Around the 740s, the ruling elite, led by the Khagan and the effective ruler, the Bek, allegedly adopted Judaism. This conversion, unique among major medieval powers, positioned a major non-Abrahamic empire within the religious fault lines of Christianity and Islam. The decision was fundamentally strategic. Adopting Judaism allowed Khazaria to maintain neutrality, avoiding political and religious submission to either the Christian Byzantine emperor or the Muslim Abbasid Caliphate. The conversion narrative suggests a deliberate choice between the two dominant monotheisms, ultimately selecting a third path that preserved Khazar sovereignty. This religious shift fundamentally altered the geopolitical landscape of Eastern Europe for 2 centuries. Khazaria's capital, Atil, situated on the Volga River, functioned as a massive international trade hub, facilitating the movement of furs, slaves, honey, and silver. The Khazars successfully repelled the initial Arab invasions into the Caucasus during the Khazar-Arab Wars from 650 to 750, effectively halting the northward expansion of the Caliphate. This military success secured their position as the dominant power north of the Black Sea. The Khazar political structure featured a dual monarchy, the sacred, often secluded Khagan, and the military commander, the Khagan Bek, who held actual administrative power. This system ensured stability, but also reflected the complex tribal origins of the state. The Khazars levied tribute from numerous Slavic and Finnic tribes, extending their influence deep into what is now Ukraine and Russia. Evidence for the conversion primarily stems from Jewish sources written centuries after the alleged event. The Khazar Correspondence, a collection of letters exchanged between Khazar King Joseph and Hasdai ibn Shaprut, a Jewish official in Cordoba, provides the most detailed internal account. King Joseph describes his ancestor Bulan being inspired by a dream to seek the true religion, leading to a debate between a Christian, a Muslim, and a Jewish scholar. The Jewish scholar prevails, and Bulan converts around the mid-8th century. The Schechter Letter, or Cambridge document, discovered in the Cairo Geniza, corroborates this narrative, detailing a subsequent military leader, Sabriel, who enforced the conversion and established synagogues and schools. These documents are crucial, but remain subject to scholarly debate regarding their historical accuracy and potential embellishment. The Judaism adopted by the Khazar elite appears to have been rabbinic, based on King Joseph's description of following the Torah and the Talmud. However, some scholars suggest a strong Karaite influence, a movement emphasizing the written Torah over rabbinic tradition, possibly due to the presence of Karaite communities in Crimea and the Byzantine sphere. The conversion was largely restricted to the ruling class, the nobility, and the urban population of Atil. The majority of the Khazar populace maintained their traditional Turkic Tangrist beliefs, or adopted Islam or Christianity, reflecting the empire's religious tolerance. Khazar courts included judges representing Jews, Christians, Muslims, and pagans, ensuring legal stability for the diverse trading population. Muslim geographers provide independent confirmation of the Khazar conversion. Al-Masudi, writing in the 10th century, noted that the Khazar king and his court were Jewish, while the majority of the population was Muslim or Christian. Ibn Fadlan, who traveled to the Volga region in 922, described the Khazar king's strict adherence to Jewish law, including the practice of circumcision and the observance of Shabbat. Byzantine sources, such as the writings of Emperor Constantine Porphyrogenitus, also acknowledge the Jewish faith of the Khazar rulers. These external accounts, though sometimes biased, confirm the political reality of a Jewish ruling class in the 9th and 10th centuries. The existence of a Jewish state on the periphery of the Islamic and Christian worlds was a recognized fact in medieval geopolitics. The Khazar conversion story became the foundation for one of the most important works of medieval Jewish philosophy, the Kuzari, written by Judah Halevi in the 12th century. Halevi structured the book as a dialogue between the king of the Khazars and a Jewish sage, a Christian, and a Muslim. The king seeks the true religion, and the Jewish sage ultimately convinces him. Halevi used the historical conversion narrative not to document history, but to articulate a defense of Rabbinic Judaism against philosophical rationalism and competing monotheisms. The work emphasizes the unique historical and prophetic connection of the Jewish people to God, arguing that Judaism is superior because it is based on direct, verifiable historical revelation, unlike philosophical systems.
Khazaria's power began to wane in the late 9th century due to pressure from new nomadic groups, particularly the Pechenegs. The final blow came in the 960s when Sviatoslav I of Kiev, leading the Kievan Rus, launched devastating campaigns. Sviatoslav destroyed the capital Atil and the fortress of Sarkel, effectively dismantling the Khazar state structure. The Jewish ruling class and many Jewish subjects dispersed, migrating primarily westward into Eastern Europe and southward into the Caucasus and Crimea. These migrating groups likely merged with existing Jewish communities, contributing to the diversity of Jewish populations in the region. The collapse of Khazaria removed the crucial buffer state, allowing the Pechenegs and other groups to directly threaten Byzantium and the emerging Rus principalities. In 1976, Arthur Koestler popularized the controversial theory that the majority of Ashkenazi Jews were descendants of Khazar converts, not migrants from the Middle East, in his book The 13th Tribe. Koestler argued that the Khazar diaspora formed the demographic core of Eastern European Jewry. This hypothesis gained traction in certain circles, but lacks substantial historical and linguistic support. Yiddish, the primary language of Ashkenazi Jews, is fundamentally a High German dialect with Hebrew and Slavic components, showing no Turkic linguistic roots. Furthermore, the scale of the Khazar population and the timing of the Rus destruction do not align with the massive demographic expansion of Ashkenazi Jewry centuries later. Modern genetic studies have largely refuted the Koestler hypothesis. Genetic analysis of Ashkenazi populations consistently shows a predominant Middle Eastern origin, with significant admixture from Southern and Western Europe, but minimal or negligible Turkic Khazar contribution. The historical consensus maintains that the Khazar conversion was a genuine, albeit limited, phenomenon among the ruling elite. The primary significance of the Khazars lies in their role as a medieval Jewish kingdom that existed outside the traditional centers of Jewish life, demonstrating the adaptability and spread of Judaism across diverse cultures. Khazaria remains a powerful symbol of Jewish sovereignty and a complex case study in religious conversion driven by geopolitical necessity.